Goals all across.
Do you know what I'm happy with? The media are licking their ass. The media are all over Liverpool like fucking. Do you know what? Right? Let them. Don't get involved in the bullshit. 100%. Let them. Apparently they're going to be immortal. Apparently they're going to do this. Going to do that. Let them. Let
them. Mate, it's in my old man cave. Someone sent me it. There's a lad the same lad that clipped you up. You know, the one where you're talking about Arsenal. He sent me that the other day, and I was thinking. That was over 3 years ago because that would have been before we went to Atletico Madrid away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
Because the man cave was still here. But I thought it's so relevant to right now.
Yeah.
Because think how the media were talking about Liverpool back then. It's how the media were talking about Liverpool right now. Liverpool were all conquering, right? They're going to land on the moon this season.
Yeah, I like it when they big them up. It adds to the pressure, you know what I mean? If some of their fans are trying to, dampen the pressure down on other shows and that. But listen, when you win the league and you're breaking transfer records, and you've got to be held accountable. So you've got to keep it the same energy as it was for us with them. So
remember that season, that one? Steve? Remember it was the famous line you said? Got the best keeper, best defender, best midfielder.
It's
the same again. It's the same again.
Yeah,
anyway, welcome back.
No, listen, glad to be back. Nobbins, how are you, mate? You okay?
I'm doing great, thank you. Yes, happy to be back. Happy to have you back, Steve, as well from your safari trips.
Yeah, brilliant time with the Big Six show over in South Africa. Met so many Man City supporters out there. It's mad because South Africa, when I was a kid, a lot of teams used to go out there. Nelson Mandela was out there. They used to go visit Mandela, and they used to play Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, etc. Obviously, the money's moved around the world now. The Premier League sort of forgotten South Africa, but the fans are still there, more passionate than ever. We did a meet and greet, and we filmed an episode of Back Your Chat out there, and there must have been 700-800 people there, and we had to have security and all that, and they were mental. And the best thing was, all the lines on the show, the Big Six is famous for, everyone's quotes and everyone's humour. They just understood it. They knew it. They were big fans of it. And there was a guy telling me out there, like the in Soweto and the sort of the shanty towns, the government have gave them all Sky, and so they've got internet access and stuff. In these.
Can they give us Sky? Can they give us Sky?
No, they pay £36 a month. For everything. We pay as near £200 a month. We're getting slammed here, man. But honestly, it was a humbling place. It was such a beautiful place, and I was mad surprised how many City fans we had there. We definitely held our own in the Back Your Chat. It was great.
I saw the chanting. You were leading it. As Steve as well. You've got to talk us through this moment.
Under the pressure. Hey. Oh, you slotted.
That was the best one, yeah?
Nice.
After Saeed missing on level 1, just had to get it done there. Let's go.
It was just the
composure, Balotelli ?
No, it was Keith Curle, Old Trafford. The penalty at Stretford End. So I thought I had to channel me inner Keith Curle. No pressure, just side foot it home, and that's how it was. But yeah, I tell you what, that rowboat keeper, so hard, mate.
It's where I had to go at the City shop in Abu Dhabi, and it's hard, man. It's really It's really hard.
The Messi and Neymar, they didn't do it. They got to level 7, I think, and they couldn't do it. It was crazy.
Really? What level did you get to?
I think I was only me behind Turkish, I think, but Saeed and that, they went out level 1.
Was a stinker, yeah. Saeed.
And listen, in South Africa, right, we went shooting, and Saeed, we had to shoot a sniper rifle, yeah, but they put a suppressor on it. So, by the way, I'm the best shot, by the way. So I won that sniper eye, yeah. I said to Saeed, this is your induction into the Somalian army. I said, if they see this video and you hit the target, you're going in. He went, yeah, no problem. I'm a good shooter. He fucking shot the floor. He shot the floor and the bullet ricocheted and went over. So I don't know who it hit or where it, which highway it went on. But I tell you what, the Somalian National Army have discharged him now. He's no longer fit for service.
What are you saying? You're saying Højlund?
It was worse than Højlund. Højlund would have at least got somewhere near it. And you know, Matisse is half blind. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So Matisse has got jam jars thicker than you've ever seen.
Thicker than mine.
He missed the target, but at least he got it near the target and it hit the background. Saeed literally hit the floor. So I don't even know what you're looking at. You've got crosshairs, but where you aiming to hit the floor? Everyone was saying looks a bit low that, and he's like, nah. And anyway, he hit the floor. So
you put it slightly higher, don't you? Because there's a bit of a
as it comes out.
Yeah, it comes down. Yeah, it dips.
Goes up. Do you know what I mean? So, but no, it was a great trip, and like you say, it was mad. But I'm good to be back. All the transfer news and activity started going on while I was over there. The mood when I left was literally like, maybe, you know, are Man City going to lose out to Wirtz? You know, people were getting a bit disappointed, etc., etc. But then obviously we got the signings in before the World Club Cup, and I'm happy with it. I don't know what you guys have been saying too much about it, but I feel like they're solid. It's cheap. We've done all right, and I feel like we look in a lot better shape. But the squad does look a bit top heavy. We have got a bit of surplus to trim from it somewhere down the line, but I'd be very interested tomorrow's lineup. I mean, if Pep starts Gundogan tomorrow and all the old boys again, people are going to have an absolute meltdown.
Oh, they will. I'll be one of them. I'll be one of them. Do you know what? I think if I could sum up what has happened since you've been away, right? I think, in fact, before you went away, you were probably still about, but I know you weren't well. We had that period where we found out that Wirtz wasn't coming to us. And I mean, I speak for me personally. I was frustrated. I was pissed off because I wanted Wirtz badly, right? And more so because we didn't know who we were going to go in for. There was rumours of Morgan Gibbs-White. So it's like, oh, are we going to go in for Morgan Gibbs-White? We'd better go in for Wirtz, for Cherki, because at that point, we hadn't even been linked with Cherki, right? The minute I saw we were in for Cherki, I was like, okay, I like this. Where we still are at this point is we've gone and actually, I think what's happened is the board have reacted perfectly. The board have gone and got 3 players. If I look at it, we've got 3 players for the price of 1. We've got 3 great signings. Liverpool fans still and we've moved on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone in the City fan base, we wanted Wirtz, but we've moved on and we're quite happy with what we've got. In fact, not quite happy. We're very happy with what we've got. Liverpool fans won't drop it and just keep popping up going, oh, you're still pissed off about Wirtz. It's like, that was 3 weeks ago. We've moved on from there and we've gone and done what we're doing. And the one that Steve, which one? So let me ask you, which one are you the happiest with of the 3 that we've got?
I think the most excited I am with Cherki because I didn't have him down. I had a conversation with an ex-player who works with Cherki about 4 months ago, and he said he's an absolutely fantastic talent, but there's a reason why he's not playing at the top level just yet. Yeah. Now that set a little alarm bells ringing with me a little bit. Yeah. And then obviously he had them games against Man United. His stock started to rise. He played for France, etc., etc. So he's a bit of a maverick. But I mean, Man City fans, we love mavericks. You know what I mean? We love these kind of players that we don't know what you're going to get. And a lot of the rival fans are saying Pep's going to turn him into a robot. He's going to be left to right and stuff. But I actually feel like he's going to be allowed to play. B, he's a bit of a street baller and a bit like Phil Foden. Foden's the same. He's a street baller. And you know what it's like? If you link up on a pitch with someone on your same wavelength, you start to tick and get them relationships. And I feel like this could light a bit of a fire under Phil. And what we said last season many a time, we had Ilkay Gundogan and Kovacic coming out of midfield. Phil Foden was standing in these little gaps, waiting for the ball. They wasn't confident enough to give it him. You better believe that Cherki's giving it him. He's zipping it in 100 mile an hour into his feet and moving. And them two are going to pop it off. And that's where we break teams down. That's where teams come out of the low block, trying to stop them two playing in the pockets. That's where Erling gets the space in behind. And I feel like Pep, in the middle of the season, last season, he didn't know what to do. His best team, he didn't know. Some games we were starting with width. Doku and Coutinho. And then the next game, we'd have a decent game. The next game, he'd start with no width. So to me, that told me he wasn't settled. He was very uncomfortable with what he's doing. But I feel like it's a good signing. I feel like Reijnders is a signing we all wanted, and for that kind of money. And Aït-Nouri, the stats don't lie. He's Premier League proven.
Yeah.
I'm mad that we've signed a left back when we haven't signed one since Mendy in 2017. So obviously, all City fans, me especially, I'm excited by it. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and all City fans should be excited. I've just seen that Jumba Bar is in Manchester. So
I've seen that.
Whether he's going to stay, or I think they're going to send him out on loan. He could be going to Lyon, I think, in that deal with Cherki.
I thought he's the one that I would deep down probably love it to be, right? Because I feel like he's only had 5 months in that league. Give him another 6 months, give him even a year, maybe a slightly better team that was also playing in Europe, so a slight level up. Because I don't think Stones, I don't know if any of our defenders end up going. We'll see, but I also think it might be that Naipan as well. It could be him, and if it is him, that's very clever because we've literally said we'll loan someone out to you, then gone and got him from someone else and loaned him. That's shrewd, but with the Cherki thing. Well, no, we'll move on to it. You mentioned Tijjani Reijnders. Nobbins, I believe you've just done a video on him, haven't you?
Yes, I released my analysis video yesterday. It's quite good. I would recommend if you'd like to go learn more about it.
I'm going to watch that.
I'm going to watch that. There was one thing, and I can play it because I played it earlier on. Apologies, it's a bit rough, but I'm going to play it. I was going through, on the train back from Manchester at the weekend, I was going through some of his best bits from last season. And this one goal stood out to me, right? Because it's how, firstly, he's press resistant, but then secondly, the pass, right? And
scoring goals in Serie A. Pace to get it behind. Cagliari backed off the Dutchman. Rafael Leao made the run. The weight on the pass was perfect. It still needed lifting beyond Cherki. But clearly, Paulo Fonseca has got it right.
And that clip alone just tells me how good he is. I think I said this the other day. I think he might end up being our player of the season next season. I really do think he could have that much of an impact. I think he's, and I don't know if you've seen today, but the talk from all the coaches and everyone at the club is how he's just fitting like a glove, polite, calm. Gundo 2.0.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, he's the one sign. He's the signing I'm most excited by. Cherki is definitely the more exciting player, I think. But I think given what City needed, given we all knew what City needed, and it was a player just like Reijnders, 100%. Yeah. That clip sums him up perfectly. He's not a pass-first player or a carry-first player. He's both. He's wonderful at passing. He's wonderful at carrying. He's just wonderful at basically everything that we needed last season. If you never watched him play before, the only way, best way I can surmise how does he play is basically like a younger version of Gundogan. Essentially, he has all of those traits. He's not as competent defensively as Gundogan was in his later years, but certainly in respect of everything going forwards, he has all of the strings to his bow. He can score. He can create via the pass. He can create via the dribble. He's press resistant, as you say. He's an all-phase midfielder, so he can help out in all phases. He's not as defensively suspect as people make him out to be. He's actually quite good defensively. Really good at intercepting the ball, for example. He's a wonderful presser as well. Yeah, his tackle volume is low, but I think that's meaningless. Look at Rodri's tackle volume from the treble-winning year. He barely tackled because City don't defend by... That sounds like a stupid thing to say, but City don't defend by tackling. They defend by forcing the opposition into making mistakes via pressing or intercepting or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be the most transformative signing for us. You know, he just won Serie A midfielder of the season for a reason. He's such a good player. He's a bit of a late bloomer as well, a bit like Marmoush in that sort of sense. And last year was the first year where he properly added an insane amount of goals to his game as well. In my video, I touched on how he scored 36 goals in his career for club and country at senior level, and half of those actually came last season. So he's noticed that was a weakness in my game. I need to add this to my game. He successfully added it to his game. So that tells me that's a midfielder who can actually just get better and take instruction from a wonderful manager like Guardiola and just turn into an even superior player.
That's the thing that I've picked up on. So one of my friends who plays semi-pro football, he's been a big fan of him for a while. And he voice noted me saying, I've been on him for... And the maddest thing is, he hasn't been playing at a top level for long at all. Right? He's
absolutely, yeah.
And the speed at which he seems to be learning, exactly what you said. He had his first season at AC Milan, good season. How can I improve? Get more goals. What did he do the next season? He got more goals. It just seems like, and even watching the interview with him, where he just seems like, do you know what? He seems like a City player like that we used to sign. You know, one of those that is just, he's here to play football and to win stuff. Right, and
Rodri's going to be. You could tell straight away. He said he's looking forward to playing with Rodri. Rodri's going to be massive for him. You know, he's going to be playing with a player where he's just going to know that someone's got his back all the time, and that's what last season's City team was missing. That there's a lot of players who would always had an eye on teams getting us on the counter attack because we didn't have that presence of Rodri there. And like Nobbin said, his tackle ratio is low because it's not about him sliding in and winning the ball back. It's just getting across quick enough to push them wide or to get them to turn back with the ball while everyone gets in the positions and stuff. And like you say, the Cherki situation, I don't know about you guys. Where do we think he's going to play? Because I've been looking at it and people are saying to me they think Mamouche is going to end up on the left, which I can't see it. But I've seen a clip in training today. Mamouche is on the left and he's crossing the ball in for Foden, scores like a little scissor kick thing. So that might be maybe true. But I was thinking, is it going to be a Reijnders, Rodri, Mamouche behind Haaland sort of midfield? And is Cherki going to pop up on the right-hand side? And then then you've got obviously where does Foden, but is Foden not going to start because he didn't have a good season? So there's all these permutations about where Cherki fits in, but I don't know what you guys think.
Do you know the one thing that me and LB had this? Well, it started off this morning. Me and Pulpy were doing our lineup that we thought we might see tomorrow, right? Then that swiftly went into, do you know what? We might play full strength. So what's our preferred lineup? And straight away I thought, God, this is so much better than 6 months ago. I'm sat here and I'm getting excited. Whatever lineup I seem to be coming up with, I'm getting excited again. And then me and LB carried on doing it. And you touched on it earlier on, Steve, about the space for Haaland, that all of a sudden, the amount of threats we have in our team has quadrupled, if not more, which then means the amount of space that Haaland gets, the amount of... One thing I found when Foden earlier on in the season was starting last season is when he got the ball in his preferred area, people were on him so quickly because they saw what he did last season. But now that's going to be more difficult because, well, if you're going to try and mark Foden out of the game, well, you're going to leave Cherki with space. If you mark Cherki out of the game, you're going to leave Reijnders with space. And all of a sudden, we've got runners in Aït-Nouri, and it just seems completely different. I think he might play with 2 10s behind Haaland. Or maybe even, I think what we came up with earlier was 3 behind Haaland with maybe Foden on the right, Mamouche on the left, and Cherki in the middle. Nobbins, what do you think?
So my preferred team would basically be or shape would basically be what we saw like in that Bournemouth game and the last game of the Etihad last season. So like Steve mentioning Mamouche starting on the left, there's nothing wrong with that as long as the left back is an attacking left back who can push up. So it basically means that whilst Mamouche is technically starting on the left, he's actually being allowed to drift into his more comfortable positions. I think that's where Aït-Nouri is
with Aït-Nouri
perfect for that. I would also, in a similar vein, I'd like to see that on the right side as well. We haven't, maybe that could be Núñez, but I'd like to see us get an upgrade there. But so essentially, technically, you'd have Mamouche / Cherki / Foden on the wings, wherever, but they're not actually playing on the wings when we have the ball. It's actually the fullbacks who are providing all of that width that then allows our central players, Marmoush, Foden, Cherki, to actually play in the centre. And they can always rotate with one another as well. I think, again, I can't remember who mentioned it before, said that Cherki and Foden have the same vibes in respect to being a street footballer.
Steve did,
I can absolutely see those. Again, it doesn't really matter who starts on the right or who starts in the centre. I can absolutely see them rotating and just having a wonderful relationship and an immediate chemistry with one another, being really hard to pick up. So that's what I would like to see, but that is reliant on having fullbacks who can really push up aggressively to provide that width. But there's no reason why you can't have a front five of attacking players of Haaland, Marmoush, Foden, Cherki, so long as your width comes from those two fullbacks. That doesn't mean you can't start Doku and Savio in every game, but they're young. They don't have to start every single game necessarily. You can have different shapes for different things, but I think that would be our best side, 100%. And that's like a low block killer. There's so much threat, so much goal threat, so much chance creation from every single angle and every single avenue.
And that's what we missed last year, wasn't it? That's ultimately exactly what we missed last year. 100%. Where all of a sudden, and if you go back to, let's go back to Centurions as an example, that Raheem Sterling, Centurion season and even the season after, the numbers that Raheem Sterling got. Now, do I think that Raheem Sterling is technically as good as many of the players that we have? Maybe not. But because of the system and because of the overload and because of the amount of threats and because Raheem knew how to find pockets of space, that's how he got all those numbers, because he was finding so much space because teams were concentrating on your Silvas, your De Bruynes, your Agueros, your Sanes, even your Walkers making runs into the box. And I think we're going to see something like that next season. When you think, if you're a defender and you've got Haaland to mark out the game, Marmoush to worry about because he can strike the ball from anywhere, Foden knowing that if he gets in the right pocket, he can be a killer. And then you've also got to watch, let's be real, Rodri in his last full season, how many goals did he get?
Yeah, Reijnders crashing the box as well. Yeah. There's threats everywhere.
Yeah. You know we're going to get beat 4-0 now, Wadad, tomorrow, because we've been fucking hell, you know what I mean? Martin, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, not bad. Sorry, I've just been at the hospital. That's why I'm late.
Everything okay, yeah? You're still intact? You're not falling apart, are you?
Oh, no, it's I think me and my dad are alternating at the moment of who goes in hospital and who doesn't.
As long as you're both doing okay. Martin, good job you're here. Super Chat came in early doors for you and Nobbins. It's from your usual Super Chatter, Spartacus. Martin and Nobbins, how do we fit Pedri and Rodrygo into this 11? We need to get these two in the football club today. If not, Pep and Co out. Every stream.
It's not fantasy football, is it?
He follows these guys about super chatting this as banter, I believe.
No, he's doing it to wind up. We have a bingo card now. He mentions Pedri to me and Rodrygo to Nobbins. Yeah, this is what he does.
Don't get me started.
One thing I wanted to touch on is the right back situation. Obviously, we it's mad how when we probably need a right back more than a left back, we go and sign a left back. But we have got Akanji, we have got Rico Lewis, we have got Nunes, we have got Kusanov. John Stones maybe at a push could play there if he needed to. But do you think Pep's going to get a right back, or do you think he's going to persist with Nunes, Rico Lewis, and Kusanov? Because I don't see him buying a right back. I know the Livramento deal is being talked about, but that's unrealistic for me. Newcastle's had a fantastic season. They're under no pressure to sell. City are not going to spend 80, 90 million on a right back. But I don't know. Does Nunes get the chance? Because I feel like Nunes and Nori on the flanks, it's very, very attacking and proactive. But it could be a bit risky at times, I think, as well. That's why I feel like he might play an Akanji or someone there to steady the ship, and just if Nori's bombing on down there, just everyone come across a little bit. I don't know what you guys think. I can't weigh it up.
No, but yeah, go on. I want to hear. Go on, Martin. You go first.
No, I was going to say I think he's going to see what happens at the Club World Cup, and then make a decision.
See how it works out.
Yeah, to just see if anyone turns up. I think they'd like a right back. Livramento seems to be priced out because Newcastle are putting 100 million on every single player that walk. You know, you want them now for some weird reason. Everyone's 100 million up there.
Surely to God, either Reyes or Kuzanov, one of them's got there's a gap there, and he's signed 2 young players. You can't see Reyes and Kuzanov coming in at centre back with John Stones, Ake, Akanji, Diaz, and Gvardiol. There's 5 senior players there. I don't think he's going to blood any of them at centre back. So surely one of them, maybe Reyes might be used in midfield. We said that, but Kuzanov, surely to God, he's got the mark.
I think we need people out, Steve. I think we need people out because unless you get somebody out, you're going to have to sign, and Nobbins know this, you're going to have to sign an under-21 player.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to go homegrown and bite the bullet and pay big money for someone. Unless there's deals.
Akanji, Stones, and Ake, yeah. Does one of them leave?
So it'd have to be Akanji if you're trying to get rid of non-homegrown. Akanji's the only option, right?
I'd get rid of Stones over Akanji.
Yeah, but Stones is homegrown.
Yeah, but yeah. I don't think City are worried about that. I just feel like they'll work that out. But
yeah, I hear it.
Calvin Phillips is going 1,000,000%. Jack Grealish, the end is gone. Jack's finished. He's going to go where he needs to go.
Walker's gone.
Kyle Walker's gone on a free. De Bruyne's gone. Bernardo's staying. I think one of them 3, Akanji, Stone. I mean, John Stones, I think, he's a cult hero at the club. We all love him. We understand that. But if we've got to go into a new era, if we're chopping people like Kevin De Bruyne and we've got to take that on the chin, then Stones will have to go. I feel like Everton, they've been linked with Kyle Walker on a free. I mean, if they went and signed John Stones for a very minimal fee as well, and that improves Everton massive. Imagine John Stones and Kyle Walker at Everton. You know what I mean? But what do you think? Would you sell Stones or not?
Nobbins, do you think Pep will go to having 2 flying wing backs, full backs?
That is how Pep's football has normally been throughout his career, to be fair.
Yeah.
The 4 centre-back shtick, I think, was out of necessity, and it was the right time to do it. And it obviously won us a treble. That was lovely. But think of all the fullbacks that Pep's had, whether it's at Barca or Bayern or his start of his City career. He's had Dani Alves, he's had Alaba, he's had Lahm, he's had Walker. He signed Mendy, who was a massive liability defensively, and yet we still bought him. I know it didn't work out because of injuries, but
and the key there would be actually, you've just triggered it in my head. We bought Walker and Mendy the same summer.
Exactly, yeah. That was after his first season. When he had Sanya, Kolarov, Zabaleta, Clichy, who was average age was about 53, and he was like, right, I need to get some actual fullbacks here, and that was the first thing he did. So
I've got to say, those players were unks. Those were unks, that back line.
That was ridiculous.
Do you know what? It's just made me think as well. When we signed Mendy, right? So we signed Mendy and we got Sane. I don't know if we got Sane that summer.
The year before.
Right.
The year before.
But Pep had a thing about not playing Sane and Mendy together because they both occupied a similar place on the field, right? Again, if we're playing Marmoush, they won't be occupying the same place on the field with Ait Nouri, will they? Because Marmoush,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because Marmoush, you don't want Marmoush to be holding the wings and being a touchline winger or whatever.
No.
So on the right backs, if we want to play the shape that we just discussed earlier, where we had all 3 of Foden, Cherki, and Marmoush in sort of these attacking areas, then you have to we have to bring in another right back, I'd say, unless you're happy to have Nunes as your right back, because whether it's Foden or Cherki out on that right side, let's use Foden for now as the example. If his right back partner is Akanji or Kusanov or Stones, who are centre backs, then they're not going to push up and actually support and hold the width out on the right. And we're going to get a situation where we're asking a non-winger to be holding the touchline and holding the width out on the right, because obviously against not having to go to Kanji or whoever, they aren't going to provide width on that side. It's like, do you remember the Real Madrid second leg? Kusanov played at right back.
Yeah.
On ball, there was shit all down that right side. Again, that's not a criticism of him. He's a centre back. So we need to bring in an actual right back if we want to do that. But that would work if you had like Savio, who's an actual winger out there. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I think for some games you could definitely have that. But I think we also need the option where we want to play, as I say, we want to play all of Haaland, Foden, Cherki, Marmoush, all in the same side. And if you want to, and Reijnders and Rodri, if you want to do that, then it's a non-negotiable. You need a left back who can push up to left wing. That's like Nori. You're going to need a right back who's comfortable doing that as well.
What does everybody think about the lack of youth players in the World Cup squad? Because
I think it shows that
they might bring some. I think they thought I might have brought Divine Mokassa in there, maybe Simpson Pusey, Regan Heskey, people like that. I don't know if some of them guys out the world are playing for England.
Some of them will be in, and others.
I don't think they've got a chance. I don't think they've got a chance. I said this last night. I think the academy. I think the academy dream is a bit dead at the minute.
I'd say it's probably more just because this particular tournament is so financially appealing to the clubs, and they all
you can't risk it.
Didn't Bayern earn like £1.5 million or something by beating a bunch of non-footballers in Auckland City? So there's a billion prize fund. There's a lot of money up for grabs. So whatever fans think about the competition, I think the clubs obviously are going.
Somebody just said in the chat they don't think many teams have took youth players. I've not really studied the squad. So
I had a look the other day. Real Madrid have took about 5 youth forwards with them.
But I think, but I would imagine probably some of these Real Madrid youth forwards are probably Brazilian and probably pretty known over there.
They're gonna be known.
I feel like there's 2 reasons for it, right? I think firstly, it is that, right? And even if you look at, I've watched a couple of the games. I watched the PSG game against Atletico, right? Full strength teams, both sides, right? I think it is predominantly probably going to be, yes, we want to win this. We want the money. We want to earn as much money from this as possible. But I also do feel like the back end of last season, and in fact, probably most of... Steve, I remember at the start of last season, you were kind of giving me a heads up that the mood around the club was a bit iffy, right? And I think we saw that throughout the season. I don't know if there's an element of this. And I'm just going by the videos, the pictures I've watched, that this is a bit of a rebuilding of team mentality, team spirit. And it does seem to be within the players that are going to feature next season. And that I don't know if Pep maybe looked at it and thought, right now, I get the importance of the academy. That's why Nico O'Reilly's here. That's why Rico Lewis is here. That's why Phil's here. But right now, we're not 4-peat winners. We need to get back to our best. So for a season, we need to maybe put the academy on hold just a little bit and focus on getting back to where we are as the best and building this team spirit, which does seem to be working, by the way, because the team spirit over there seems unbelievable. It seems back to what we expect from C. I don't know if there's an element of that. And if you bring maybe people that aren't going to feature next season, does that maybe... what's the point? What is the point? Is that building team? He wants a tight, close team spirit. I don't know if there's an element of that to it as well. Because I don't know, when I'm watching it, you're seeing Foden and Marmoush together quite a lot, which seems to be something I keep noticing. I don't know. I do think it's something to do with the team spirit as well. But the money is important. The money's...
Yeah, and I think also like blooding in these new signings is also important, like getting that relationship together with one another before the season starts. The players will obviously know that they didn't have the season they wanted last year, so maybe they want to make amends there as well. It doesn't really surprise me there's not many youth players taken based on that context. In an ideal world, it would be lovely if all these great prospects got time, but it's the circumstances don't really allow for that right now, unfortunately.
Do you think that they organise anything for when they get back? Like a friendly at the Etihad or the Academy Stadium or something like that? Or do you think...
What are the timings? What do we know the timings are?
The last game, if we were to... So the team that gets through to the final, the last game, I believe, is on the 15th of July.
And when does the season start? Is it the 16th of August, I think?
Thank God we're not in the Community Shield this year at last.
So you got maybe a month.
Yeah. Oh. Mm. Yeah, they'll give them. They've got to give them some time off, haven't they? Obviously, sure.
I think they'll get 7 to 10 days off, and then they'll probably do one of them academy games. You know, at the academy stadium.
Yeah.
Like we did. Do you remember when we came back from the World Cup and we played Girona?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some players. There's some players that have pretty much had like 3 days off or something because the season ended. They probably had a few days off. Then they're off to international duty. I mean, we even saw with the transfer window that some of them had to fly in briefly to Manchester to get a medical to fly back out because I think there's one City player that actually ended international duty in Canada and so just stayed there until the team arrived over there. Well, obviously caught a flight down to America. So I think they will. Oh, by the way, have any of you lot seen the fixtures have been leaked?
Yeah, well, we get that every year. I don't know if you can believe it or not, but yeah.
No, I'm not sure.
You say we got Newcastle away on a Monday night.
First game of the season.
Well, I've seen 2 lots. Someone said
Steve,
I've seen about 2 or 3 different lots of those.
That'd be typical, wouldn't it? Newcastle away Monday night. And then the interesting one was Arsenal away, second to last game of the season. Imagine winning the title there.
Oh, that's goosebumps already.
Sorry, but have you seen those fixtures? Be careful on them fixtures because they've got City and United both at home and away at the same time.
Have they?
So they can't be real.
No.
Well, saying that though, they could be real. United will be playing on Monday nights.
United fucking hell. They can play when they want them. They're not nothing else to play for.
They're going to be playing on Monday nights. Monday night football.
You're cruel, Daps. Cruel.
I'm not lying though, am I? They will be playing on Monday
No, you're
nights.
not. And it's piss hilarious. And it's piss hilarious. So I know.
What's the crack with Nico O'Reilly? Because obviously this season he's played left back.
I've asked this.
Pep's turned around and said he's not a left back. So in that case, to me, he's a midfielder. But looking at the midfield, if we could play 6 midfields and he's not getting in it. So what's the future for him? I know Chelsea was sniffing, but I mean, is he going to turn him into a left back? Does he get in the midfield? Do they sell him? I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? He's still young. I think that's the first thing to note. Is he 20 years old still? So he's still, obviously time is on his side. I don't think that O'Reilly will ever be a starter at City. That sounds like a really mean thing to say, but I just don't know if he will. But there's no reason why he can't be a very good squad option.
I think this season is a defining season for him. I think this is where we're going to find out whether A, he is going to get in that side at some point, or B, it's not for him. And I think the same applies for Rico. You know, Rico's been there a few seasons now, and everyone loves him. He's homegrown. And, you know, we don't know where his best position is. We've seen him play well sometimes at right back. We've seen him stink it out at right back. We've seen him play great in midfield when they play the box midfield. Then we've seen him getting shoved all over the park. But Manchester City as a club, it can be ruthless. And I feel like, you know, we're in no position to carry players because we think, well, just because they come through the academy, we've got to give them a chance. I think last season shown that. And if we start playing well and start ticking, and these new boys are coming through now, I think some of these players could be sold.
Yeah, I think
it's a great point.
I was just going to say that.
No, go on. You go. You started, mate.
Come on, Chuckle Brothers.
I'll go mute.
Okay. I was just going to say that it depends what O'Reilly's motivations are. Like, if he's happy to be a squad player for his. He's a City fan, isn't he? He is, right?
Yeah.
No, he's a local lad, but still just want to check he's a City fan. Yeah. So if he's happy being a squad option in the club that he loves, then there's definitely going to be a space for him, absolutely, because he's so versatile. He can play at left back. He can play in a more of like an 8. I think he was a striker in his younger days, so he could even play more of like an attacking player as well. And if he's happy with that, there will be plenty of minutes for him throughout a season. But if he wants to be like a starter week in, week out, semi-regular, like 20, like 15 plus Premier League starts, let's say, in a season, then I don't think that's going to be achieved here outside of like mad injuries or something. It depends on what he wants.
That's my thing. I was going to, you spot on that, Bins. And this is the thing of, we've had this problem with Cole Palmer and everyone else who's walked out the door. It's not the playing the odd game. It's are they okay playing the odd game?
Yeah.
Because what you're basically saying is for the next 2 or 3 years, give up football for being a first teamer and just compete as a backup. If you're a young lad coming through, do you want to be a backup? Is that what you strive to be as a footballer? And that's the big question. Because the thing is, you've got Nico, I know Gundo's probably going to leave, but if we're willing to sell some of the older players and then replace them with an O'Reilly, replace them with a Macassar, replace them with them sort of players, then fine, stick around and wait your turn for a year or two. But the problem is that isn't what people want. They want signings then. Because you go, Gundo wants, I want a £50 million signing here, and if he goes, I want a £60 million signing there. No, everyone then forgets about the young lads.
I think
that's the problem with it.
I think the hard one with Nico as well is, so Nico's 6 months younger than Rico, right? I think with Nico, you would say at the back end of last season, he was our left back. But if Ake was fit, maybe Ake would have been our left back, right? But now with Ake back in contention, does this mean that Nico O'Reilly now becomes our third choice left back? Or does this mean that Nico becomes our... Because for me, I'm not seeing him as a DM. We haven't really seen him as a DM. I know Pep said he can do the DM role, but we've never experienced it. I think maybe 1 or 2 friendlies last summer. Or then if we're seeing him as an attacking midfielder, well, that's stacked now. So I think it's an interesting one. Is there any world he's the one that's loaned out to Lyon? Maybe.
I can't see it.
I can't.
I think what he's done last year.
Yeah.
The City fans would you want him around the squad? And like you say, he's had a great year. I think if O'Reilly, if you told him he was going to hit them numbers, score them goals, play them games last season, he would have said, "I'll take it."
Agree.
You know what I mean? Because he's only 20. So this season's another learning curve. I'm not overly worried about O'Reilly. I feel like he's a bit patient and time's on his side. The one I worry more about is Rico, because he is a sort of utility player where when in doubt, he'll do the job, and every team needs that kind of player. But last year when it didn't go well, he was scapegoated a little bit, and some games he wasn't the best. But then he improved towards the end of the season. And I look at the team now, I don't see where he gets in. I don't see where he starts. Like Nobby said before, if there's injuries or Carabao Cup games or, Champions League games against opposition, we know we're going to blow away at the Etihad, I see him playing. But if we're going straight in the Premier League, I don't think he's starting.
I think the thing with Rico is, right, I've said this on a show before, that I feel there's 3 times we've seen 3 different types of Ricos we see, right? There is the Rico that we saw more treble season, which is starting as right back, but inverting and basically against a team where we're going to have the ball for 80% of the time, camped in their half, and he comes and sits next to Rodri and plays in a position that he's very comfortable in. And he looks great there. There is Rico, where we've seen him against, I think it was Red Star Belgrade in the Champions League, one of the last, we'd already qualified, and he was playing in a more advanced role. And again, he looked quality there. Those 2 roles are things he looks comfortable in. And then there's the third, which is when we see him playing as an actual fullback against a team that we need an actual fullback. And then he looks very uncomfortable and he is not good enough. That's the trouble here, that we've seen Nico O'Reilly come in, play as a left back and look comfortable because he's more physical, right? With Rico, I think the only way we can truly judge him is if he's played in a role he's comfortable in. And at this point, however much I want to see that, you look at the players that we've got in front of him and you go,
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Because his best position would just be, like where he played in the FA Cup semi-final last year, against Forest. Like that was just straight up midfield.
Yeah,
that's his natural position. Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But so a more advanced midfield area. But the players who can play there: Reijnders, Nico Gonzalez, Foden, Bob, Cherki. These are not just very good players. These are they're very good players. They're also very young as well.
Rodri,
if you wanted, yeah. So it's not like these are players who are on their way out or whatever. Like Foden is I think Foden's like one of the oldest on that list, and he's only 25. Reijnders is only 26. Cherki's only 21. Bob's 21, 22.
Thought everyone had given up on Foden. Thought Foden was a nothing player. Now get him out the door. Bye bye.
I don't listen to idiots, Martin, so don't worry about that.
I told you about Twitter and you, Martin. You need to give that up, mate.
People in my chat last night.
Do you know? I'll be honest with you, because I've been one that's very much saying, give the kid time. This is perfect for him. We've got players coming in. That means he's going to have competition, but also there's less pressure on him. But already from the training videos, I'm already sensing Foden looks re-energized. And it's making me think, do you know what? Maybe he needs less time. And by the way, let me be clear. It was never a case of me ever doubting Foden's ability. It was just when someone mentions mental health, I think give them time. But it seems like I don't know, and this is only in training, but he seems happy. He just seems like he looks like the old Foden again.
He's a lot fitter as well. Apparently he's lost weight and he looks a lot. Have you seen him? He's getting a bit of a six-pack going on. But saying that, Gundo, they've all come back really peaked sort of training. Gundogan's lost a lot of weight.
You know why that is? They've spent about 2 weeks watching Ruben Dias with his missus and thought, hold on a minute, I need one of those six-packs.
They've all come back, new haircuts, everything.
All of a sudden, the gym's busy. Everyone else is joining Ruben Dias in the gym because they're like, hold on a minute, if that's what that gym does for me, I'm going to get down there.
Where did you meet Maya?
I think he's going to have a good season. I think he's going to have a season which is what we know from him. He's had one subpar season. That's not the norm. He's been very good for City since around 2020, 2019 onwards, that sort of time. So I'm going to base it off precedent rather than like one subpar season. And yeah, we'll see, of course. But I do find it funny when people are making all these like 11s and like, oh, who's Pep going to choose between Cherki and Foden? So I'm not being funny. If you think Pep Guardiola is looking at Foden and Cherki and deciding which one rather than I'm going to play both of them, I think you're a bit of an idiot, to be honest. Guardiola's not thinking that at all. So, of course, maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I really don't think that.
Your mate Dax is sending him on loan. Your mates is sending him on loan in the chat. Stevie's duck, yeah. He wants him on loan.
No, it's not. It's not my mate. I don't know if Devious Duck is my mate. Well, do you know what? Everyone in the comments is my mate.
Everyone's our mates.
Do you know what? I hope that Foden is back to his best. I think, Steve, you said something quite some time ago that Foden was missing Rodri popping the ball into him early. And I think it does.
I think it does. I think there's certain players that their game is based on other players playing in that system that helps them out. And I feel like Phil just looked a little bit lost. And I think the City fans were wanting Phil to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and running with it. And it just didn't happen for him. But listen, everybody wishes Phil all the best. We hope he next season. We hope this season was a blip. And to be honest, at any other football club, I think people say to me, why don't you call Foden out? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I said, because I ain't going to go online and slaughter a young lad, City fan, that's come through our academy, won everything there is to winning football just because he's had a bad season. Other fan bases might want to do that, but I don't feel like we have to do that. And they go, well, you're protecting him because he's homegrown. 100% I'm protecting him because he's homegrown. Because why the fuck would I, as a match-going fan or a fan that talks about City everywhere, go on a channel and think it's right to rip him apart? So we don't do that. And I like to think that's what sets us apart. We're not a bunch of knobheads. We don't kill our own players. We are allowed to criticise them every now and then. But the words mental health has come out and problems. So we're taking a step back. And I have been accused of wrapping him in cotton wool. And yeah, I will wrap him in cotton wool because he's fucking one of our own. And what he's done for this football club before this season gives him credit in the bank with me. So yeah, we can criticise him. Yeah, we can be disappointed. But take it into context. Take a step back. Let him have his pre-season. Let him get his head together. The players that we're missing are coming back in the squad. Judge Phil Foden on this season now. Because if he comes back now and starts fucking popping it in, everyone's going to be thinking, fucking hell, I'm a bit of a twat here because I give Foden a load of shit last year. So people need to be careful. You know what I mean? We'll see this season. Phil Foden knows that last season he wasn't up to scratch. Phil Foden knows he wasn't up to par. So we don't have to tell him that. All we've got to do is get behind him. And like you say, this season, he's got to put it right. We can't accept it another season like he did. He's got to put it right.
I think this is something I touched on while you were away, Steve, because often we do get this, why do English really protect English players? And you have to take a step back and stop and say, whoa, this is not English. I always use the example. My mate Soups, he's from Grenada. He always tells me about everything that Grenada does that's great, right? If you have a French friend, he will tell you the most about French players. Steve, you in South Africa, I'm sure you had some South Africans telling you about some great young South African footballers you should keep your eyes out for. This is not an English thing. This is just a human thing, right? You have a special love and you want people from where you're from to succeed. It's not anyone, it's everyone does it. And even more so, if you, we have to remember, this guy came through our academy. He was the first real one to come from this academy. We're going to want him to do a little bit better, but a little bit better than anyone else. But also, he has. That's the key. Not only do we want him to, we don't forget what this kid has done for us.
It's not even an English thing, it's a City thing.
Yeah.
We're protecting
He's
our
a
own.
City fan.
Spot on.
Yeah.
We should be protecting all our players. Our players. Yeah, we can constructively criticise. But I saw it, and I've got to be in my bonnet about this at the minute. So excuse me, just while I have a 60-second rant. So my apologies. But you saw it the other day. Akanji makes that point about the Club World Cup, and everyone destroys him, rips him apart, get him out the club, this, that, and the other. Rodri and Dias say the exact same thing 12 months earlier over the World Cup and the 70 games, and it's my captain. What a guy. Go on, strike. It's player agenda, Daps, and I'm not having it. And it's getting called out now.
Now, Martin, you just missed a clear thing. You said, because Rodri and Dias said it how long ago?
A year ago.
Right. And Akanji said it 2 weeks before. The main issue was, and what not only did Akanji only say it 2 weeks before, but he also said, and it's not just me that thinks this, some of the other players think it as well. So he brought them in, and it was just for me, I get it.
But Rodri was talking about going on strike.
Yeah, but that comment up there, again, that was a year ago. Yeah, which one?
So it doesn't matter. No, different energy for different players.
Martin, let me finish. The reason why I wasn't too cool with it was one that he said it and brought other people into it by mentioning that other players, but more so, it was 2 weeks before the tournament where it probably brought the club into a little bit of disrepute with the tournament. That was my issue. I agree with what he's saying, but FIFA would have been saying, come on, what's going on here? So it was just a bit of that for me. Which comment, Steve?
J Fresh TV about Rico.
That one.
Yeah, Steve cussed put Rico all season last year, but then he blocked Steve, but Rat Foden is. First of all, I never cussed Rico Lewis. I said that I didn't think he was a midfield player and that we have to stick to a position. He didn't block me. He unfollowed me, as he unfollowed many accounts, because I believe at the time his agent was knocking anyone that was criticising Rico or talking about him, he was just taking him off him, which he's perfectly entitled to. Nobody stuck up for Rico Lewis more than me. And I don't criticise players. I don't get on the back of players. And he is one of our own. And we do try and wrap him in cotton wool. But this is what we were talking about before, is constructive criticism. If anyone can go and find a clip of me criticising Rico Lewis, then please share it with me. I'll give you £1,000. But all I did was say,
I'm hunting later.
In my opinion, he needs to be nailed to a position, because I feel sorry for him, kept getting pigeonholed in these positions. And then nobody can say on here that Rico Lewis playing in midfield was outstanding. We've seen him lose the ball. We've seen goals get, concede with him getting knocked off the ball. Everyone was shouting from the rooftops. But we still try and protect him. But there's some players that aren't good enough. And this is a big season for Rico. He's got to prove he's good enough to get in this team. City's levels now are here. Rico Lewis is a very, very good player. And he can get in a Premier League teams, no problem. But does he get in our team? Is he good enough for Manchester City Football Club? That's what we need to find out this season.
That's the key. That's the key. And I can, when we look at the lineup that we hope to see tomorrow night, right? There's so many things I want to see, right? And that's a good place to be, ultimately, because like I said, 6 months ago, maybe even 4 months ago, whatever lineup came out, I had concerns. Whereas now I'm sat there thinking, do you know what? I would like to see Rico Lewis genuinely given a chance in his natural position. But I also want to see Reijnders. I want to see Cherki. I want to see Savio on the left. I want to see Marmoush play. All of a sudden, we're back to a place. And Steve, I remember when we were away, European away this season, and it was when we were starting to get players come back from injuries, and you were saying to me, look, all of a sudden our bench looks better, we're able to rest players. And now we're going into this thinking, at last, if a player or two is injured, like, we're good again. We're good. And that for me is what I'm looking forward to. Unfortunately, I don't think Rico survives this season, but
well, we'll see. They've all got a clean slate. They've all got to get in. And like you say, there's competition now. There's people in that squad want your shirt. So if you slip, and even Foden, if you take your eye off the ball, someone wants it. So I think
I was going to say, I think with Viana as well, I think when we look at the shake-up at City at the moment and how happy everyone looks, Pep has probably had to listen to Khaldoon, listen to Viana with their suggestions, not with their instructions, but with their suggestions about maybe you should refresh the coaching team. Maybe you should be open to this. And Pep has openly said, yeah, do you know what, I should. And I think that's something that Viana probably has said to Khaldoon even. Are there players in this squad that are untouchable? Is there anyone untouchable? And Khaldoon has probably said, no, there's not. And this is where now all of a sudden players don't just have to impress Pep. They have to impress Viana as well. And I think from what I'm seeing, Foden is going to surprise a lot of people this season. I really do. And I hope he does. Right, couple of super chats. This is a good question because I was thinking this from the video on City Inside.
No, he got let go by all accounts, I heard, didn't he? So his house is up for sale as well. Yeah.
So the clip I saw of him taking shots, was that just before he went?
I think so.
It must have been, right?
He's keeping from Chelsea now, so that's his position gone.
Did you hear what he said as well?
No.
Oh, I'll send it to you. You'll love that for Matisse. he literally says, I'm a London boy. I love Chelsea. But when City come knocking, the chance to go and join a team of winners, it puts everything out the window. He's shit all over Chelsea, to be honest. But no, I did see a clip of, I think it was the last training session before we flew out. And Carson was taking shots against that, what's his name? Martin, is it Bettinelli? Yeah. He's taking shots against
Bettinelli.
He's taking shots against Bettinelli as Edison arrives, and Carson goes, "Hey, Eddie, this one's better than you." Piplup saying Pep adores Rico. He'll still be in the squad. Yeah, for a season. We'll see. And the last one.
Go on, yeah. Big up the panel, great show, guys.
Big up to all the panel, great show, guys. There we go. That is it.
Right, people. Look, let's wrap it up then. It's been a good show. It's an hour. Manchester City play tomorrow against Wydad from Casablanca, Morocco. Be very interesting to see the attendance in the crowd. The attendances have been really, really poor. I know there's quite a few lads gone out there. I know MCFC lads, Luke, has put his how he got to America thing on before. It's cost him about 40p to get to America, but he's flown 48 hours around the world to get there.
Do you know where he flew to? He was on
somewhere else,
mate.
He's the tightest kid in the world. He's got more. His dad's loaded. He's got more dough than anyone. He's earning a fortune off YouTube, and he's walking around with his eyeballs hanging out of his fucking head because he's not slept for 48 hours. I said, you're going to be dead by the time you're 30. Make sure you sign all your dough over to us.
He came on this time last week, and I asked him. He got a flight to Iceland first, and then from Iceland to America.
To be honest, we've done it all with the Faroe Island trips and all that. But
Steve,
you can get it there.
The biggest question is, Steve, I'm like, we should place bets. I'm wondering when it is. I think once we get through the knockout stages, you are going to be on a direct flight to America.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If the old car wouldn't have been torn, they've told me I can't really fly. But I went to Madrid once with a bone in my back, full of tramadol. I thought it was a great idea until the flight back. But the flight back from South Africa wasn't a nice experience with his leg. But I don't know. We'll see. There's nothing really pulling me over there to go. You know, it looks, it's a great trip and that. But I'm looking at it. I went to stadiums. Steve, you know, it just looks.
I hear you until you smell a trophy, and then you're over there. I know you too well, Steve. I've seen you say
get plenty of leg room
too many times. You're not going.
Oh yeah, I love a trophy. I do love a trophy. So you never know, man. It might be happening. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
No, but Steve, you get plenty of leg room. You get a whole row to yourself in the stadium. It's amazing.
This is what I mean, man. But fucking hell, I've had the Americans. The American fan base don't like me. You know what I mean? I've had the real American guys do that come to the game with us. You know, the ones that don't like me anyway. So you know what I'm saying?
Are they still about? Actually,
no.
They're gone. Actually, one of them's all right. To be fair. Anyway, Nobbins. So everyone should head over to your channel, people. Martin and Nobbins' channels and Big Steve's channel as well. Big Steve posted a video this morning. All of their channels are in the title. All you have to do is click on them. So after this, click on their titles. Make sure you subscribe. Nobbins, you've dropped a Tijjani video.
I have, yes. It's a analysis video of Tijjani Reijnders. It took many hours of research and work, so go watch it. It's 11 minutes, 58 seconds.
I'm going to watch this afterwards. Martin, what you got coming up?
Yeah, I did the phoning show last night. Tomorrow, Blues Down Under, episode 7, 12 p.m. And then we got a watch along, City versus Wydad.
What time's your Aussies Down Under show?
12.
12 UK time. Perfect. I'll go before it then. Okay, brilliant. Right. So that is it. People, please make sure you do go over to Steve Nobbins and Mancunian Way and subscribe there. Watch their content. Steve dropped a video today. Nobbins got an 11-minute video all about Tijjani. I'm going to go and watch that personally. And Martin's just live all the time with all the Mancunian Way boys. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10:30. Oh, and also their channels are in their names. And what can I leave you? Do you know what? I'm going to leave you with... Have you lot seen these? The induction videos?
Yeah, Echeverry's one's out now.
Echeverry's one is... I just think the Kuzanov one's hilarious, man. I think the Kuzanov...
That says a lot, by the way. That says a lot on Echeverry doing the initiation video. He may not be going nowhere.
Agreed. Well, the fact that Savio did as well. Yeah, but... Anyway, we are out. In fact, no, I'm going to leave you with this one first because this one's the best one. Apart from anything in this league. Look, Arsenal have done all right, didn't they? They've done all right. But they will say we lost it at Villa.
Fuck them cunts. I don't know what to talk about.
I'm 21 years old. I'm from Brixton.
Yeah.